Hello and welcome back to the Oceanic Challenger Series for 2019. We spiced off the season with week number 1 last week and saw some pretty interesting stuff. But I, of course, am Bryce Agent Paul. Can't even pronounce my own name. Joining me once again is going to be my good friend Tim Carbon-Wendell. Wendell. Boyle. How you doing, mate? How's your day been?
Thumbs up first. I'm doing really well. My day went well.
Yeah?
I'm relaxed.
Relaxed? Why's that?
My girlfriend booked me in to the spa. I had a massage.
Ooh.
First massage I've ever had.
Yeah?
It was really nice.
Just zoned out?
Yep.
The entire time?
Zoned out. So I'm geared up.
Yeah, you
I'm
got
now
the
geared up.
relaxation.
I'm relaxed,
Yeah.
and now I'm ready to get into some Oceanic Challenger Series.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting last week. We saw a bunch of just wacky stuff. We saw Ornn in the bottom lane. It was like Ornn Tarek. We saw based on like where we've seen the meta internationally, looking at MSI, looking at what's happened with the patches. There were a few like different things that stood out. Like there's a lot of the standard stuff, but like we had super high Kindred priority over the course of the weekend, and it was fairly interesting there.
I think one of the major things between one of the major differences between OCS last week and what we've seen MSI, obviously they played last week, but this week as well. So, a lot can change in a week. But I think for a lot of our teams, there was a priority on tank tops. We didn't see a ton of carries. We even saw Guapi go like 100 CS up in an Ornn matchup, which was a bit weird.
I think we saw a Fiora.
Yeah.
Among other things.
We did see a Hecarim as well. But for the most part, we did see a fair few tanks.
Yeah.
Whereas at MSI, that's not happening really at all. It's all carry matchups.
Yeah, that's the thing. So we are going to head into week number 2, and we're going to bring up the schedule to see who's facing off again. Once today, it's UQU Union versus Gravitas Academy to start us off. They will be game number 1. AVA versus MProx is going to be game number 2. Mammoth Academy versus the QUT Tigers. Bombers Academy versus LGG Legacy Genesis. UTS Esports versus Chiefs Academy. Then rounding off the last game of the day is going to be Order Academy versus the Dire Cubs, who had a pretty good showing last weekend.
Yeah, I was pretty impressed by the Die Cubs. I think they played the Sona Tarek. There was a bit of a fumble in the mid game where I think they lost one like major team fight around Baron, if I recall, and that sort of delayed what would have been an otherwise pretty clean game.
Yep.
But Die Cubs for me so far are looking probably like the favourite.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, 1 week is not really much to go on,
yeah.
and it depends on obviously the team you play in the first week also plays a large part. But as far as convincing win goes, I think Die Cubs were definitely up there. I was a big fan of the draft as well from Coach Kai. But talking about favourites, I thought Legacy Genesis, trying not to.
Yeah, okay. Alrighty. Yep.
But at the same
started
time,
off,
they did bring the ponage last week, and I'm about ponage.
The ponage, yeah. Okay. What about the teams we're going to be facing off into game number 1? It's going to be UQ Union versus Gravitas. You kind of mentioned Guapi on the top side for Gravitas Academy. He's on like laning phase, like TP bottom side a little bit early, and like it wasn't quite there, but then he just became completely unstoppable, and they ran.
Well, I think being able to TP bot, like failing a TP, or getting no reward from a TP bot, and your opponent doesn't TP, and then still being able to win lane. Yeah. I think that says a lot about his laning prowess, and particularly in that matchup.
Norless versus on,
Yes, but also I more meant like the players.
Okay,
I think. I mean, again, it's only 1 week, but to be able to do that, I think Guapi is someone that I'm going to be looking out for.
Yeah.
And then UQU, they had the
pop off Aurelia.
Yes.
Riot on the Aurelia. It was the Aurelia Sejuani.
It's the Sedge. He actually played really well. I was really impressed by the UQU jungler last week, Candyman. I think that the two of them had a really good game, and a lot of synergy between those two champions as well. But Riot was really popping off. So I'll be curious to see what happens. I think Hot Shelly, Oriana ban, please. Yes, there we go. First ban. We spoke about it last week a bit.
Yeah,
about,
what are your big criticisms?
One tricks and players with champion prowess on one champ.
Yep.
Okay, week 1 you can be forgiven for not knowing what the champions are that sort of you can be forgiven.
So in this case, probably
we all
not,
play
but
together,
like,
We're all in solo queue, guys. But I can forgive a coach for a week 1 blunder. But it's week 2 now. Everyone played their one trick. Let's please see some bans.
Yeah, and that is going to be the case. Why not? He's going to actually ban away the Jarvan with that Sejuani that he did play last week. A couple of meta bans is going to be the answer here from UQ Union, though. Rise adding to the list of Oriana. And the Gangplank, which is something that we don't necessarily see a lot of, but
Guapi
good
plays
answer
a
to
lot
a
of
lot
it.
of top laners.
Guapi in particular plays a lot of GP and solo queue, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
I've definitely seen that name associated with a Gangplank. It even has GP in the name, capitalized.
Yeah, it's like
maybe that's on
only the
purpose.
G and the That could be.
That would be
that
so
could be
smart.
it.
I really hope it is.
Yeah.
I'm inclined to think it's not.
I feel like
but that would be sick.
His name in solo queue is also significantly longer.
Yeah,
like
it
it's not
is.
just
It's
Guapi.
Is it LGD?
Yeah.
But I think that's like some sort of clan because there's LGD
Well, I mean, like
Somnus as well.
LGD, literally like the Chinese team.
Oh, of course.
That could be it.
Some sort of clan.
Yeah, time will tell. It was going to be Nautilus to round out the rest of
Galio.
the games. And
He's
first
OP.
pick, Galio is something we see a whole lot of. Big powerhouse on the bottom side. Very annoying to lane against. Team fights incredibly well. Kind of the big support on the current patch.
It's like if Tom Kench also just one lane
Yeah.
and set up ganks and just had like a
Did everything,
flashable hard CC that you couldn't get away from. Like, it's literally, he's just complete. Like, the only thing, at least, I'm glad that Tom Kench has his W, because without W, he would be useless.
He'd be a crap.
He
I
would
mean,
be nothing but.
that is just the most useless thing you've ever. It's like the champion is designed around the Devour. And
Yes.
you're like, if we remove his Devour, he would be useless.
Yes, I understand
like,
what you're saying. But Galio does everything he does, but better.
Yeah.
He has a global ult. He has CC. He can sort
Everything.
of save his teammate with a taunt.
Yeah, not
Like,
with the ulti because
it's
it doesn't
not
have
an
damage
eat, but-
reduction. But as I say,
Anyway.
he's pretty damn good. We're kind of
Galio's
zooming
really
through
OP.
the rest of
Oh,
the
Riot got
Aurelia again.
Aurelia, and they picked
Yeah.
Karthus. Probably jungle, I guess, but
Potentially, we have seen it in the bottom lane a little
I
bit.
don't know how I
Pairing
feel
it with the
about
Galio is potentially a
Karthus
little bit
Galio
iffy
is a
there,
thing?
but we are kind of zooming through the rest of the draft. I want to hit on Gravis Academy real quick. They do get the Hecarim. Braum
Hecarim, OP.
is a good answer
Braum,
into
very
the
strong.
Galio. I like that one a lot. And it is
LeBlanc.
going to be the LeBlanc,
Big
likely going into that Aurelia in the mid lane. Both of
Yep.
these mid laners did have a good performance last week. I feel like it's certainly going to be a matchup to watch as we track through the rest of this game. And Draven's going to hit the bench.
Hot Chili's LeBlanc is pretty good.
Yeah.
And I think LeBlanc was the first champ he
second?
chose after
Ori?
Yeah, when he decided to expand his pool. So looking forward to seeing Hot Chili's LeBlanc. Surprised that the Aurelia up. I mean, I guess Aurelia mid's not super meta, and maybe they think, range melee matchup, they can just sort of figure it out, which they, I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt on that one. But at the same time, Riot had a monster game last week on that Aurelia. So.
But you do kind of have to look at the draft, right? That, like, things aren't really set in stone at this stage. Galio most likely will be a support, but Karthus can go bottom lane, could be the jungle. You don't know if Aurelia is, like, straight up a blind pick in the mid lane. Could go top side and then, like, into the Hecarim could have a fairly decent matchup.
Yeah.
In saying that, Hecarim could be jungle. So neither of these teams have really shown a whole lot just yet in the first phase of the draft.
Well, I think also UQU think, with that Ornn ban, still afraid of the Guapi Ornn.
Yep.
Thinking that Hecarim is probably going jungle.
Yeah.
Silas, another very strong champion.
Yeah, but there's going to be a couple of 80 carry bans that were taken away by Gravitas Academy. So a lot of things still left up and available. The Draven obviously targeted away. That's a very annoying one to lane against. But Barrison, as you mentioned, Silas Ornn is going to hit the bench from the other side. So kind of flex picks galore. These two teams have to round out their compositions and kind of give us, the viewers, and the other team some answers right now. That would be a fairly basic pickup right now. Not all too surprising for Retribution, even then just the meta.
Player. But also meta. Also very good with the Braum, I think. A lot of opportunity for kills, maybe not in lane, but as soon as lane phase, as soon as those towers open up, Braum Kaiser actually has a lot of kill pressure, I think. So I like the pickup. Gravitas so far, pretty well-rounded comp, sort of front to back with the LeBlanc as an early game win condition.
Yep. Kind of need something to get you through.
I feel like their top lane is going to be pretty important here. If Hecarim is going jungle, that's going to be a bit of a weird... Actually, no, I take that back. Hecarim is quite strong early nowadays. I was going to say Hecarim traditionally, not a great early game jungler, but Conqueror is just so good on him that he can...
kind of used to want to get towards Triforce, but now like the new runes can kind of like he has some power. He gets boots too. He gets upgraded like can, jungle item, and he can
does a lot of damage early.
Yeah, stand up toe to toe. He's going to be Vayne versus Space Vayne in the bottom side. So not the biggest matchup, but he's going to round out the rest of the comp. Not too sure where that Vladimir's going. I expect
double flex.
Oh, I was going to say I expect it to be in the top lane. The meta would kind of dictate that as the most standard thing, but Vladimir into LB, it sounds like an okay matchup. And then if Hecarim does go top, maybe it is dependent on whether Gravitas lock in a top laner or a jungler here. And sort of that, like they see the matchups they want, and they can just reactively pick where they want to set those two champions.
I think that Vlad into LeBlanc is not great because the chain goes through the pool and she has a lot of early damage before Vlad can has too much sustain. So I was going to say they locked in too quick, but Vlad will probably go top. But Urgot, still pretty strong. Don't see a ton of Urgot, and this might be again. I feel like even now, I mean, we've just spoke about the tank meta top, and that carries have sort of carries are dominating internationally at the moment. Even when we pick carries, they're tanks.
Like Urgot.
Like Urgot.
I actually
I think top lane Vlad is sort of like pseudo frontline.
Yeah, I mean, he's a lifesteal tank.
Yeah.
He has like 7 seconds of invulnerability. He doesn't necessarily like take damage from your AD carry, but he just makes him useless because he can't hit anything. But I actually really like the Vlad Urgot matchup in terms of just watching it at the top side. Like, it's super interesting given that Vlad has windows where his abilities, like he wants to chunk himself, go into pull sort of thing, and can still be executed by the Urgot.
Yeah.
And then like there's those interactions where like you need to time the Hemo Plague very well as Nightfaller in this matchup to survive those execution, like the values, the cutoffs, the 20%.
Well, it's all about pulling the ult, right?
Yeah.
Because if you get hit by the ult, you can't pull anymore.
Yep.
Once you pull, you get executed.
Yeah, because you chunk your HP and then
But you should be able to do it on reaction. Like it's not like a super tight window unless Urgot is like, if he's E'd you, if he's in your face, and he can bait out the pool early.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I agree. It will be a pretty good matchup. Karthus jungle, I feel like Karthus jungle doesn't really have a place in the meta anymore.
Okay. Why is that?
Still super strong if he can scale up, but it's a lot more like the old Karthus jungle. Like, because he got nerfed a few times, they nerfed the Q, so he clears a lot slower than he used to.
Yeah.
He's also missing a pot, unless he used one by accident. Should have 3 if he's going to go Talisman pot.
He just wants the 50 gold upon recall.
Early pink.
Yeah, the early
One
pink
camp
wall?
and base for the pink.
That would be a strategy.
It would be a strategy.
A
agreed.
strategy. I don't know. I'm not going to pass judgment on that one. It's probably a little bit of a roughie there, I would expect. But yes, it's got to be the 5-point fan from both of these teams. Kind of just standard stuff, level 1. You would definitely probably favor Gravitas Academy in a level 1 fight. Karthus, not the greatest. Braum, probably one of the best, and they do have...
Karthus is really good level 1. Q until you
Not a whole lot of CC.
But the rest of them, all pretty bad. Galio is okay. If you stack, then Galio is good.
Yeah, you get the W flash taunt onto everything.
Other than that, Braum is just so OP.
Feels
level
like
1.
a very good time. It is going to be Hecarim
Wolf
actually
style.
starting leashless,
Okay.
on the Wolves. So
Interesting.
Braum's going to get a
I feel like there is a lot of creative stuff you can do with Hecarim at the moment. We've seen Wraith Red starts. If you guys have been watching MSI, we saw Smithy try to do it. We've seen it sort of on Reddit the other day as well. So there's definitely a lot of different stuff you can do with Hecarim at the moment, I think.
pretty versatile.
Curious to see where he goes.
Yeah, that is one of kind of the marks of a good jungler. I feel like in a very general sense is being versatile. If you do have like a one sort of thing that you can do, then you're very easily abusable. And like those sort of champions don't make their way to the height of the meta because people just figure out ways to abuse that, right?
I thought he was going to do some like Galaxy Brain stuff and like take W level 2 and then do Gromp and Blue at the same time. But he's taken E, which means he probably should have gone for Crab right now. This, I think, is a mistake at camp. But we'll see.
Yep.
We'll see. I don't know. I'm washed up. That's what he's done.
Is going to be somewhat matched on the other side. Karthus clearing a little bit quicker, is now onto his rates, and why not? We'll just be able to finish this camp off as much as possible. And where do you kind of expect the action to be happening in the early game? Do you think the onus is on one team more than the other to make something happen?
Absolutely. I mean, Union, they can't do anything, right? Like they're really just waiting for Karthus to hit 6.
Yep.
And then they'll try and all in with a Karthus ult. Or, I mean, Karthus can gank. He's not the worst ganker if you get a good wall. And if you hit all your Qs, he still does a lot of damage. But it's Karthus. No mobility, super squishy, really low. His base move speed, I'm pretty sure, is really low. Hecarim, why not? He's scouted this out. He's figured. He's pinged out the golems, but I thought he was going to be aggressive.
Does he actually see the Karthus on that ward? I feel like he should have, but maybe just sees him go to the golems and wants to get action in towards the bottom side.
Ghost comes out, so he's committing.
Yeah, that's just a very nice taunt there from Sand. He's going to dissuade a bunch of that damage. MLG is going to take a turret shot and look like a little bit of miscommunication between Gravitas Academy's bottom lane and jungler.
I believe it's pronounced Emelg, actually.
Emelg?
Yeah.
It's not MLG?
No,
it's Emelg?
Quite sure it's Emelg.
You've completely made that up.
I have. Hecarim ganks mid. We are just watching a first blood. It wasn't on the screen, so it's not our fault for not saying it.
Yep, and he's going to take him out. That is going to go over to the Hecarim. Hot Shelly not going to get the kill on that one, but certainly 2 gank attempts. One of them is going to provide some fruit here, and he's got to get the double scuttle as well, so...
Double crab for the Hecarim. So a good early start, I think. He puts some pressure on the bot lane, helps his bot lane get priority, does a bit of damage, burns a Galio pot, ends up with double crab anyway. I mean, this is sort of classic Karthus matchup. Karthus is just going to give up everything, clear his jungle as fast as he can. But at the same time, now that he clears it a bit slower, it just makes it that little bit more difficult for his lanes to hang on.
Yeah, his punish windows kind of aren't the best there, and he was doing golem, so no way to kind of counter towards the top side. And as you mentioned, double scuttle. He's going to kind of change the mid matchup is the biggest thing. Ignites burn a piece. Chelly burns his, so does Riot. And this is a sort of matchup that can get very dicey. And especially given that the kill goes over to the Hecarim, he should have advantage in the jungle matchup anyway. I feel like this laning phase is very difficult for the Aurelia to kind of navigate. He has to play in the wave to be useful, to be able to farm. That means he is in chain range. He is in danger, and that's going to be hard to track on towards the end of this game.
Yeah, Hecarim's going to be really big as well. I think he's going to be pretty close to level 5. He's going to base now, pick up some items. He only just took his red because he spent so much time on the bot side. So he's going to have his red. You can see it's not even a quarter finished. So he's going to have it. He's going to base full buy, come out of base with red, and he's going to get at least one gank probably with that red buff. So I think, I mean, Riot does have the flash still. Didn't burn the flash in the kill, so technically should be able to survive. Candyman is looking for a level 4 Karthus gank in the bottom lane.
Now spotted on that ward. The flash is available from Sand. He's going to connect to Retribution. Flash heal are there. That's going to be Candyman going in for the play. Can they land the blast of that damage? Barely getting it. MLG goes in for the commit, and he gets the 1-for-1 trade. Unfortunately, going to lose both of their lives, but comes up with something.
You wanted to say email so bad.
Yeah, I did. You really threw me on that one.
It's okay. I've been calling that for years. Yeah, so we see now Hecarim, red smite, double sword.
Yep.
See what he can do with it. I think that was really good from Candyman. We spoke a bit about the Karthus gank. It's doable. It's just difficult, but beautiful flash taunt from Sand there. Retribution not quick enough to react to the unreactable taunt. You
kind of have to, Galio charging up.
No flash on the Karthus.
Candyman getting incredibly low. Is he just going to be taken out? The Conqueror is popped there, and that's just a very easy cleanup. A 2-0 pony running around the Rift, and why not having a very good game?
Yeah, great punish there. Takes the wraiths, leaves the ward behind, and finds Candyman trying to take some red side camps. Huge punish.
Yeah, that's the thing, because taking it back a step, right? As he was walking out of base, I'm like, he has all of these lanes he can go towards. The Braum can set up for the Hecarim, so can the LeBlanc, so can the Urgot, and then it was actually Candyman that gets first to the play. Ulti's going to come out, does actually get distorted away from, so Chelly buys a little bit of time. Ignites are up in the mid lane, and advantage will go to the LeBlanc for the time being in the ulti. Why not? He's going to
working on this blue buff.
Karthus is just on the other side of the map.
Yeah, I mean, might be looking for that return gank in the bottom lane. Might be willing to sack the blue in the hopes that the Sumless Gravitas Academy bot lane try to get priority or move up. Karthus also pretty good at taking Dragon.
Yeah.
Assuming that you have enough mana not to die to the damage, but does it quite quickly. So Candyman willing to sack the blue there in order for some bot lane control, trying to play around a strong lane, which is a smart thing to do. But yeah, those Karthus ganks, pretty hard to pull off unless you have a lot of room to work with in the lane. Yeah,
and I feel like it's also about the Galio, right? Like, when he burns his flash, like, Taunt Flash is really his main engage tool. It's very easy to react to a Galio, like, walking at you, charging the E, and then charging up the Taunt after that. You can buy a lot of time. You have the Braum to be defensive, but I was going to say there's potential that he looks at top priority, mid priority in the hands of Candyman, and he's like, look, if they go for my blue buff, there's no way I'm going to be able to contest that one. So maybe goes bottom side, looks for a contest. Instead, he looked for a gank, didn't quite find it. Now he's going to get double blued, and why not certainly kind of running ahead on the CS values at this point in time.
Yeah, you can see the mass missing pings go down as soon as LeBlanc walks into the bot side. Karthus really doesn't want to lose another buff. He's just lost his blue. To lose his red as well, he's not even 6.
Why not 7?
Why not is already 7.
Yeah.
I mean, Candyman's going to ding 6 after probably one more camp. But yeah, we said at the start of the game, Karthus' goal is to just hit 6 as fast as possible and hopefully pick up an ult, start proccing those the Dark Souls, Dark Harvest, sorry, as well as Presence of Mind, Ultimate Hunter, all those
start
runes
stacking
that
up
he takes.
Then you can be a Karthus in the late game.
At this stage, yeah, it's taken him a little bit too long, I think, to hit it. And why not now with a completed warrior, the Ghost about to come up, the ultimate, can pretty much one-shot everybody in this game at the moment.
And lots of pings going onto the Dragon. There is a bunch of Union vision down there, so they will know exactly what's going on. If the contest could be here, could see a fight erupt. It's not a Galio level 6 yet, so
It is a Fire Drake though, so
Fire Drake is a big
OCS
prize.
team, very big on contesting
Candyman
fires.
doesn't have flash. The smite is going to come through from
TP's coming
Wino,
though.
so he will be able to get that one. The chain
Flash
does
at the
connect
bottom
from
of the river.
Hotchelly, and that is a flash on Rio, but he doesn't have the time to use it. He may just get bursted out before the Galio arrives. Sand gets a taunt onto 2, and the flank is here from the bottom side. Union looking to clean up on the back end, but Why Not is just so big, doing so much damage. Farmer looking to pop off 80 carry versus 80 carry, and Vladimir finally has arrived. Guapi didn't even have the TP. And he's just going to get cleaned up. Nightfaller trades the 1, but that's going to be a double kill for Retribution. An ace at 9 minutes, and Gravitas explode with the gold lead.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned it as it was happening. Fire Drake, you need to all in. That's the one thing I know about OCS. We see TP from Vlad after the Dragon gets finished, and a full commit. Farmer did pick up a number of kills there, almost carried the team fight, but this Hecarim is just so huge.
5-1.
As soon as you have that Conqueror full stack and all the AoE damage in a close quarters team fight like that, he just has so much time to heal. You saw him almost die. Farmer almost got the kill, but as soon as Farmer died, Hecarim was back to quarter health. Was able to just stand and deliver on the Vlad as he came out of the pool, and that is a huge team fight win for Gravitas.
Yeah, he is monstrous. Goes back, gets the makings of the Triforce, and when he completes that item, he's going to be definitely the biggest horse I have ever seen. He's only a level lead up over Candyman, but definitely maintaining a ton of control over this map. Taking stock of kind of elsewhere. It is the Storm Razor now completed for the Kai'Sa, whereas the Bork is not quite there. But this is another all-in. Hotchelly incredibly low, and that's just a straight-up 1v1. Riot with the Aurelia. That's so much work.
From 0-2 down, he makes it work.
They actually have the flank from Vladimir, but Why Not is going in for this one. The stun doesn't connect. It does. Riot lands it, and Why Not may just fall down. Taunt is going to land there from Sand, and somehow the Karthus died.
Red buff, Red Smite, sorry.
Yeah.
Red Smite, super OP. Why Not was probably about 3 seconds off from his ult when he decided to all in. And with the ult, he would have one-shot Karthus and maybe escaped, or maybe he was hoping he could kill him beforehand and then ult out. But unfortunately, just mistimed it by about half a second and wasn't able to escape. And that's pretty big loss of tempo.
Yeah.
When you're fed like that, he really had the opportunity to power farm, gank any lane he wanted.
You have all of the options.
Rift Herald is on the card for you. Goes for the outplay, and unfortunately that means it's not a shutdown, but
it was a shutdown. It was a small one.
Pretty big loss of tempo.
Yeah, only a couple of 100 gold there, and he's still 6-2. He's still incredibly strong. This top lane, given that Guapi didn't TP to the skirmish around the Infernal, he just has so many stacks and a 30 CS lead to boot. So this is another week of good performances here so far from the Urgot player. And is he actually just going to get first brick by himself? Karthus is tracking up, but one more auto attack, he's going to be able to do it. 2 is going to be the case. Karthus arrives, Flash E, buys himself a little bit of time, but Nightfaller definitely wants to kill Hecarim. As you mentioned, is on the flank. Candyman does have the flash available, but that does
are you kidding
so
me?
much damage. The ulti goes wide from Guapi. Nightfaller is going to be the target, and Why Not? It's just going to run to safety. Karthus ulti may not be enough. Hotchelly is kind of flanking through the blue buff, but doesn't pull the trigger.
Yeah, Hotchelly just looking for
clean up
Vladimir face check into the wrong bush.
They want the blue buff as well.
Yeah, Guapi is in base, but he has TP, so we'll see how much they're willing to commit for a blue. I think they're just going to bail because Why Not's very low. He's just picked up another kill. It's a bunch more farm.
He's on 2 HP.
Their blue buff is spawning anyway. So Hotchelly's like, don't worry about it, man.
Yeah.
We'll take ours.
And the difference in strength between these two junglers is getting to astronomical. 7 and 2 for the Hecarim, 0 and 5 for the Karthus. You expect the matchup to trend in this direction, but not by this much, right? There's been so much action in the early game, and Why Not has really been a part of most of it. Braum is now floating up towards the mid side, trying to back up Hotchelly, given that he did get soloed out before. Fairly rough matchup so far.
I do want to mention something about Candyman, and I'm not sure... I don't know him super well. I haven't watched a ton of his games. I've only watched these 2. So I could be way off here, but it seems to me that he likes to play passive champions aggressively.
Like Sejuani last week?
Aggressively.
Yeah, okay.
So like last week we saw Sejuani and we saw a bunch of games. And we saw him and Riot constantly pressuring mid. We saw the game snowballed out and they took control and Riot ended up 1v9. This game, same sort of thing. He's picked Karthus and then he's run bot, flashed forwards, picked up 2 assists, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but now...
Given there's been an answer this time,
Yeah, he's sort of paying for a bit, and I wonder whether he doesn't like playing carries, or whether he just likes playing them so much that when he's given a tank or given a passive champion, he can't help but play aggro anyway.
Yeah, well, I do think he's a big Sejuani player, given what I've seen of him like previously to this OCS split. So, like, big Sejuani player, had a good game in it last week. Heartless haven't seen the most of. That was the Rift Herald picked up here for the Hecarim. Does he just go for the chunk? Just
I was
alphas him out of mid
lane.
lane.
He has Warrior Triforce. Like, that is such an
14
obscene
minutes,
amount of damage to have at this stage in the game. That last fight when he half-health Karthus, like, he just used his E. No, no, like, just like
an EQ order,
half your health gone. Thank you very much. He is
monstrous.
Gigantic.
Yep. So, Earth Dragon going to be added to the list. He's going to hand over the blue buff to Hot Shelly. Interesting to see where they do throw this Rift Herald. Probably, oh no, actually.
Look at me. I'm the carry now.
It's a Chad jungler.
Yeah. I mean, he's almost the same CS.
Hot Shelly doesn't have an item, and he's got Skirmish's Triforce. So I feel like that's a reasonable call.
Yeah. But it's also not, I don't think. Like, he doesn't need the blue anymore. He's taking it for, like, the XP. And, like, yes, it's nice to have unlimited mana. Hecarim uses a fair bit of mana. But, like, at this stage, you're, like...
The benefit that LeBlanc gets from a blue buff versus what the Hecarim gets.
Hecarim's getting enough mana just from the jungle item. And he's clearing the camps in, like, 1 Q anyway, because he has a trillion damage. So, I'm still not with it. But
you are a jungler.
I mean, junglers normally want to keep the blue buff.
Yeah. That is fair. It's going to be spotted out by a little bit of vision here. Top turret was broken significantly earlier, so a lot of control on the top side, just kind of inferred from GRVA being able to push in that deep. And yeah, as you mentioned, it is going to be the LeBlanc towards the bottom side, kind of flipping the lanes as much as possible. Farmer is really the recipient of all of the gold on the other side of the map. He's working on his Gwinsus and kind of wants to get towards those 2 items as quickly as possible. And if you're a Union fan, he's probably the saving grace at this point. He needs to be able to do some work along with Riot in these fights to kind of get them through the mid game.
Yeah, I will say that this is a great Vayne comp to play against.
Yeah.
Everybody on the Gravitas lineup can be kited. As long as he doesn't get one-shot by LeBlanc.
Which is difficult.
Which is hard. I mean, she's not super fed. But, yeah, as long as he doesn't cop that double distort or he doesn't get tagged by a chain, he more or less can kite everybody else.
Yeah.
And he is quite fed. Will he tumble forwards and condemn? No, Retribution drops his on.
Yep, Kai'Sa there, Braum there as well, means that he won't opt in for that one. So this is going to get a charge, and that's the Ghost. The Blanc is on the flank, and the straight ulti gets so much damage onto the Karthus. Candyman falls down, but Farmer wants an answer. Requiem is going to be channeled as the top laners are floating into this fight. The turret not yet dead, and Shelly will fall down. It is just the 1-for-1 traded between the 2 teams.
And I will say that that is not worth. I mean, you get the Rift Herald charge off, yes, and if they're able to now do something with the pressure in an abstract sense, then maybe, but like they can't do anything. The mid lane is dead. And also Candyman gets that all-important Karthus kill.
Yep.
When you're playing the Karthus jungle, you don't want assists. Getting the Dark Harvest is nice. You still get Ultimate Hunter, but you really want that presence of mind. You really want to be triggering the presence of mind to get that cooldown refund on your ultimate so you can use it as much as possible. A little bit of extra gold on the Karthus. Like, it's still a time bomb. Yes, why not is huge. Yes, Karthus is 1-6. But 1-6 at 25 minutes?
Not as bad as 1-6 at 17 minutes?
No.
Yeah.
You know, he's about to hit that level 11. If he finishes one item,
all of a sudden does reasonable damage. They did get the flash out of Farmer again, which is a pretty potent summoner, given we're talking about he is one of the members that can sort of counter the stuff that Gravitas Academy are looking for. So he flashed out of the Hecarim ulti, bought himself some time, and bought his life from that team fight. Unfortunately, Candyman couldn't do the same thing, given his flash wasn't available.
And these lanes, this is a really smart swap from Gravitas, because Riot cannot do anything against this Urgot right now. And as mentioned in Champ Select, LeBlanc into Vlad is a pretty good matchup for the LeBlanc. Vlad is at the stage now where he can probably survive most of the burst, particularly with an ult. But Hot Shelly does have the Ignite, so there is still a bit of pressure.
Ooh, Stun is going to connect. GRVA does buffer it with a dash, though.
He wants no part of that.
Gets himself the big golems and does just walk away. It is the 1-3-1 setup here for Gravitas Academy, and they are just kind of looking to pressure both sides of the map. Riot, being a mid laner, no TP, is just going to group up with the rest of his team, and potentially Union going to look for some control around the Baron. 19 minutes on the clock. We're approaching that spawn timer, and control around the area certainly would be useful in trying to delay Gravitas Academy and snowballing as much as possible.
I'm really liking this play out of Gravitas at the moment. They know that the dragon's up in 30. Now, I'm not certain what type of dragon it is, but they've put LeBlanc top. UQU have sent, they brought Vlad down, so I'm assuming this is a pretty good dragon, because I think they want a team fight over it.
Yeah, certainly want to be fighting this.
UQU have found themselves in a position where top lane is shoving in. They're about to miss a whole bunch of CS. Bot lane is shoved in because Urgot is much stronger than Aurelia. And if they do try to fight this dragon, they're not only going to lose farm. Oh, hang on.
Yeah, Urgot, you said much stronger than Aurelia. Barely gets the kill. Nightfaller is going to arrive and look for the cleanup. The shield may just be enough to buy his life for some time. Requiem is going to be channeled, and he's not going to die at all. The Triumph Kronk barely saves him, and this Urgot is monstrous.
Hex Drinker, very useful versus Karthus.
Yes.
But Conqueror, super busted. He heals so much health at the end of that with the Triumph proc, but then just getting that little bit of damage as Vlad comes out of his pool, and somehow GRVA manages to survive. Another super strong week out of him, and this mid tower is going to fall as a consequence.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If Nightfaller just lived for like another second, all of a sudden Requiem comes down, GRVA dies, and then like they get the kill onto Candyman. It's not the worst trade after all. They're kind of just trading blow for blow, and then he would have been cleaned up by the Hecarim. But unfortunately, GRVA just gets the straight up 1v2, 2 for 0 kill, and feeling very good about that one. Ocean Drake was the prize that they were fighting over, and Gravitas Academy, they cleaned that one up. They transition topside, look to get some control as they opt in for the full recall here. 7,000 gold is the gold lead. And
yeah, it's
20 minutes. This is growing.
It's pretty significant.
Yep.
It's a pretty significant gold lead.
Oh.
And I like how Gravitas have been playing with their lead as well. Like I feel like they're moving around the map in the appropriate way. And if they continue doing that, it's, I mean, yes, UQU, they got the late game.
Eventually.
If they can make it there.
Yep.
They got the ultra late game. But yeah, as long as Gravitas keep playing like this, it's going to be very difficult for them to get back in. Sorry.
Yeah, why not just contesting some of this vision? We did get a toggle of the gold there, and the most interesting thing for me is the fact that GRVA is actually the same amount of gold over the Vladimir as the Hecarim is over the Karthus. They both have like 3.6k. Here we go. One hit is on the cards. Heal is going to save him for some time. Ball comes through.
Hang on.
Farmer looking to turn this one around. It does he fall down to the Ignite tick? He does, but a team fight's been brewing on the top side. Retribution has to stop the stopwatch to buy some time, but this is just going to be the cleanup. Why not gets another kill? MLG stuns up the Galio. Urgot ulti comes in from Narnia, and Hot Chili stuns up Nightfaller on the Vladimir. No flash available. He falls down. A double kill for the Hecarim, and that's another team fight for Gravitas Academy.
Nightfaller trying to do what he can, but unfortunately it's just not enough. Gravitas are so tanky at the moment that the Vlad damage just doesn't stick. The rest of Gravitas heading over towards that Baron. Guapi still looking for a little bit more. Candyman has the flash, so I don't think he was ever going to die, but forcing a stun is always nice.
Yep, didn't get to burn that one, and as you mentioned, the rest of them, just 4-man on the Baron. That's going to be 5 Barons apiece. That was almost an ace.
That was the weakest Baron I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's got one hit.
He just got one hit at 22 minutes. Put up no fight. He just, I don't know, didn't have his wheat bix this morning or something.
Yeah, he falls down, but his gold lead exploding over 10,000 now. 11,000 on the cards. Infernal Dragon certainly helps out with these team fights, but it does just seem to be kind of the trickle in. Gravitas Academy, they get the first pick. We saw LeBlanc take down Vayne, and then everybody one by one is transitioning to the top side. Nightfaller comes in a little too late. Taunt is nice, but that distortion buffer is absolutely busted.
Love that distortion buffer there from Shelly. Yeah, look, we said Farmer is a win condition still, despite the deficit, but yeah, he can't die to the block like that. If Hot Chili can pull those off, then it's all over.
Candyman, there goes the flash. W does land for the Kai'Sa, so
that's one of the perils playing Karthus, unfortunately, particularly from behind.
Yep.
Has to flash away from a distortion Q. Didn't even get hit by the distortion. Yeah, one tower down so far from the Baron. Second to follow. I expect that this third is not long for this world either. Not much health left on it.
Ping's coming down towards the bottom side of the map. UQU wanting to defend the inner turret for as long as possible. Why not just got to one-hit it? Oh, no, actually. It's got the fortified debuff. So that's done. He's not going to land. Buffett through the ulti there. Why not actually wants to fight? Braum finally arrives, and that's going to be the passive proc. Candyman, no flash. He just used it earlier.
Also.
Hot Jelly's found Farmer once again on the side, and Gravitas Academy, that's
job.
3 kills. That might be an inhib, and that might be the game.
Yes, I mean, 20 seconds, 25 seconds. They don't have a wave already a tower other than this one, which is a bit far away. So I think that...
Oh, Guapi
hang
actually
on,
wants this
Guapi
one.
going...
Hard in for the pain. He's just going to get the execute, and a straight-up 1v2 once again comes out the victor.
This sprint
Oh,
confidence
here we
there
go.
from Guapi.
He just
Still
doesn't
moving
take damage.
forward. Yeah. He's got the Death Stance. He's got Merc Treads, Black Cleaver. Nothing for the...
Galio to do.
UQU
He's a very
laner to do.
squishy Galio. Got himself a redemption, so doesn't have a whole lot of the tank stats. And
What are your thoughts on supports that go like... Tank supports that go like Mobies or like Tarbis or like Mercs?
like, what is the thought process?
Yeah.
I feel like it's dependent on the time you can get your boots. If you can get something happening with like a Galio early game, you get like boot purchase on your level 6 timing, you can just zoom top and look for an ulti, then
Yeah.
sure.
Okay.
And it's an eventuality that you do want to go towards the Merc Treads, towards the Ninja Tabby eventually, but
Yeah.
like, given kind of the
much
state
can
of
you
the
get
early
done
game,
beforehand?
yeah, like, why
Yeah.
not was super big. I
Yeah.
feel like going the Mobies in the hands of the Galio, like, you would just get so much more value in a team fight with Mercs or with Tabbies in this game, so the timing really wasn't there, and as we've kind of seen, hasn't been able to make them work.
Man, Kai'Sa does so much damage.
3 items, finish the Runan, so gets to hit 3 people at once as well. A whole item ahead over his opponent and 40 CS, so
Crazy stuff.
Space Vane winning the 1v1.
Space Vane. 2 items on the Vane. Farmer still potentially able to do something if he hits a fully sick Condemn. Why not putting the pressure on? Is he going to follow it? No, go straight into the inhib.
Wall of Pain is going to come out and slow up the Hecarim a little bit. Stun does go wide, but this is going to be a very hard defense at the hands of Union if they want to.
I was going to say,
Go
like,
for
oh,
this.
if he got CC'd there, he might have been in some trouble. But then I looked at his items and I was
He's
like, oh, he's got
Stera,
Merc
yep.
Merc Treads and Sterix. Don't worry about it.
Hot Shelly looking for a little bit more poke off to the side as Guapi's just looking for the hard flank. Shoves in topside through the inhib, and UQU are just forced underneath the Nexus turrets. This is going to be 3 waves of super creeps eventually. They have to pull the trigger on a fight, but what is the engage? A stray stun from Riot, or maybe Nightfaller just pulling the trigger is going to have to be it.
Yeah, I think
Galio's
a flash
flash is
forward
coming
from
soon.
Nightfaller followed by a
Oh.
Galio ult potentially. But really, I mean, Farmer's going to have to do some pretty crazy stuff in a second if he doesn't want this game to end.
Yep, Brawn passive, he's going to land onto Candyman. MLG looking for it. That's the flash from the Galio. They get onto Guapi, but he is really not the target you're looking for. Backline gets completely decimated as Requiem will be channeled, but is it going to be enough? The team fight is almost a wash. All 5 members will fall down here. Aurelia barely survives off the back end. In Gravitas Academy, they're looking straight for the Nexus. 2 turrets fall down onto the Nexus and an end, and that was a very strong game.
Yeah,
From the red
start
side
to
of the
finish, all Gravitas there,
Yep.
all orange. Not much that, well, that's probably not fair to say. There's probably a lot that UQU could have done, but Gravitas just did it a little bit better.
Yeah, it was like really the fight of the junglers in the early game. The Carthus looks for the gank, but why not? Gets a couple more. He gets the double crabs, takes away a couple of the camps rather.
Yep.
And he just steamrolled ahead, but I do want to highlight
Jungle gap in Twitch chat.
it's not just the jungle gap. Because it was like mid lane, like floating towards top, like the mid and top side for Gravitas Academy, they're using priority and floating towards the blue buff, so that why not can go and steal that one away. It really was multiple people floating their pressure all over the place to allow him the freedom to go for that sort of stuff, and then he executed on that very well.
I think that his 1v1 was really strong. Like, the early path, we did talk a little bit about, like, oh, like, why is he doing this Gromp?
Yep.
But at every other stage after that, like, he was playing aggressive, he was taking the camps, he was just pushing that XP lead as hard as he could. And then even when, I mean, I really loved his answer to the Karthus gank bot lane.
Yeah.
Okay, they timed the Karthus flash, they know he doesn't have the flash. He runs, they know, he knows he's going to base afterwards, and that his red side camps are spawning.
Yep.
Runs straight into that red side, takes the wraiths, waits for him, solo kills, wards, goes
And that's
top
the
side,
swing point,
steals
right?
the blue,
Yeah.
like, and then it's all Hecarim from that
Yeah,
point
it
on.
is that single kill that really like turns the matchup, and
Yeah.
he turns up the heat and takes kind of everything. But that is a very quick game number 1. Victory goes to Gravitas Academy. Don't go anywhere. We'll be around here after 3 minutes for game number 2.